GM friends, and thanks for joining GForce TA Tuesday every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. As a member of our server, you can join community calls every week, request chart reviews, and discuss the charts in real time. Check out the link in the video description below. Today, we will review charts for Cyberconnect, Chainlink, Flashbot, and Bitcoin, and for legacy markets, S&P 500, Dow Jones, Industrial, Dollar Index, 10-year bonds, and gold. With that, over to you, Eddie.
What's up, everyone? Hope everyone has had a great week. Market's been a lot of fun to trade, so I hope everyone's making money and stuff. Let's check out some charts. So I'm going to start off with FB. It's just a coin that we have not over the streams. The original plan I had was to buy some here and then to buy some more in the purple box, which I did, and then close it if we start getting below it, which I eventually did close it, I don't know, somewhere in this region, for basically break even after DCA, maybe a small loss. So not bad, but it's doing well, here, let's just erase everything. It's basically doing nothing, but it's holding the current support, and it's just going to do the accumulation thing. Hopefully it has a cycle. I'd imagine it does. It seems like a pretty cool project. So hopefully it just kind of accumulates long term and then has a bull run. But you never know. Like, some coins just never do anything, and you never know if this is going to be one of those ones that do nothing. So for now, it's looking okay. It's just accumulating in this pretty large range. It's probably like 100% range, but that's what low caps do, 300% range. So yeah, if you like it, stick to buying at the bottoms of it, like down here. I imagine that you'll get a chance of it back down here. No need to FOMO into this. Okay, moving on. I'm going to start with Bitcoin, just because that's the king of our market anyway. But on top of that, so we've been currently live testing the scalp indicator that is under development from Cryptix and some of the guys here at DeFi-Logic. Join the server and drop your TradingView username for free access to indicators during alpha and beta testing. And from what I hear, it's going pretty good. So let's just check out the chart for now, though. I try to leave these charts alone that I do on stream. That way we can see if the stuff played out or not, and I trade on like different charts. So we never got that sweep that I was hoping we would get. If you guys remember, I was hoping that, I think it was on the 4 hour. It's a little bit cleaner maybe. Yeah, I was hoping we'd come and take out this 4 hour low to get re-long again, but we front ran it pretty heavily right here, which this was a long too, if you were paying attention. I actually did take a small position there, but I think I covered most of it because it seems like we're just chopping this low time frame area. So I think if we do get a flush, you still want the same plans. Look to see if we can sweep and reclaim this low. That's a long, and your stop loss would just be the new low it creates. And I would go pretty heavy in that. Or if it doesn't reclaim that area, we have this daily SR level, and same idea. I would just buy up a lot right here, as much as I can forward, basically, with risk in mind. But I'd be risking pretty heavily. Like, I usually risk anywhere from 1% to 3% per trade, but something like this, I'd probably go basically full port inside Bitcoin and a bunch of altcoins. So it's a really big trade if it comes. But other than that, it's just kind of chopping around right now. It's making the last few days of trading really hard. It's in a low time frame range, and it's just not something that you want to risk too heavy on when we're up here. I'm going to do different line colors. I'll just do the pink. But we're basically just ranging right here, right? You're in the middle, so no trade zone. You can short down here if you get something like that, or you can long here if you get something like that. But the main trades, the king makers, are these ones still, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's a bunch of squiggles and a bunch of lines, but I think everyone follows. And then we'll run through Ethereum really quick too. Basically doing the same thing, right? So this actually did give the kind of the trigger I wanted. It came and swept these lows. It didn't go as low down as I initially was anticipating. But if you DCA'd the box, which I hope I mentioned that because that's what the box was for, you got filled. It's been a pretty nice trade so far. 4% move on Ethereum is not bad at all. Same thing though for now. I don't really see this one happening anymore. I don't think we're going to close back into range. If we do though, I don't know, it's tough. I don't really want to look for shorts at all right now. I'm mostly bull biased and want to keep it that way. Look at that little scalp I took and then it just went off. How annoying. So we're filled right here. If it comes down again, I'm going to erase some of this stuff because it's cluttering my mind. Same idea though. It's got this low time frame range. Like I was saying too, I'm not really interested in shorting. Maybe if we get some higher liquidity, I would be open into taking shorts. I still want these two levels to get ran. So maybe if we run this and then get back below it, you can short it. But I'm more so open to buying range low, partial TPs at range high. If it flips, you can then look to compound on one of those things. And if it just comes back down, same idea. If we get back down into this range again, I'm sorry, not the range, but into this zone again, just load up. This is a buy. This is exactly what I'm saying. Bitcoin, if it gets down there, I'm getting really heavy, right? The exact same thing. This Bitcoin is just stronger still. Ethereum coin, you can see that Bitcoin still is just stronger, right? Hoping for this to reverse soon. I'm more heavy into Ethereum longs than I am Bitcoin longs right now because I just imagine this is going to reverse. Seems like it is. That's the plan. We have this little triple 3 day, I think they call it like a triple div or whatever when it goes this 3 times. And it's there right now. So definitely an Ethereum bull over Bitcoin, bullish on the whole market. So let's look at Cyber. Cyber had a huge scam pump the other day, and I totally didn't buy it. And I was looking at it and everything. It was sad. But it's slowly grinding up back towards all-time highs. We've looked at it previously. Let's look at it again right now. But it had such a easy setup, and I don't know why I just didn't buy it. Like I even have it marked on here and everything. It was just a little breakout. I think I was looking at it on 4 hour actually. Hold on, I'm gonna switch to a different exchange. Put to cleaner somewhere else. Yeah, same idea. It had this little breakout thing going on, and I want to say on the 1 hour it retested it. Even you had your arrow up here, which is I don't know what chart I was looking at. Maybe buy it. I don't know. It did give a retest of it like this. I remember right here with these candles, and I just for whatever reason didn't buy it, and then it went turbo. A bit frustrating. It might still have some legs in it though, so let's look. Pretty key resistance, but I just imagine it's going to fly through it. A lot of the market is very low time frame right now too, which is tough. Technically, that would have been another good buy right here when it retested this. So I think it's something to keep an eye on. Maybe if it comes back down into this range low right here, I don't know if it'd even go that deep. I'd even be happy with it just to go like 50% of it. Somewhere in this like little OTE area would be awesome. Gets that low, I'd probably buy it again with some stops. I don't know, maybe just right here or just whatever low it creates, just a stop below. But it looks pretty decent. And then alternatively, flipping these highs, it has a lot of room to run if it does. I don't know much about Cyber. It seems like a scam coin to me, and scam coins pump really hard. So you could probably even get all-time highs once it breaks out. Definitely something to keep on your radar for sure. Sushi V2 is live as of October 23rd, and price has been moving. I heard that people were like pumped about it. Oh yeah, it looks great. Look at that. Under resistance right now though, so don't buy it here. But if you start getting some closes above it, then you can run and just play it by levels. So you got like another level right here. That'd probably be your next target. So closes above, retests, long into this, and same idea. You just want to make sure you're taking profit at resistance zones, but if it continues to go higher, just rebuy, right? I don't think it should retrace too much, especially with that news. It's pretty bullish and the market's liking it. Maybe at most I could see this part coming in. Anything below that, I would not want to be in it though. So if you get lucky enough to get down here, I would for sure play it with the stop. Just same idea. Whatever low creates is where I'd put my stop, because if it goes all the way back down, I don't want to be in it anymore. But with the dip down here, you can probably aim it right there. So it'd be a super nice trade to have. I wanted to review Mina really quick too, because we were looking at this last week and it's been playing out pretty well. I actually shorted it this morning. So this is like one of the few trades that I go over and it doesn't play out like within the next day or two. This took a while to play out, but I believe we were saying like, oh, look, the scam pump, there's a good chance that it retraces all the way, especially if it loses this level, which it did. So it lost that level and then it came and retested it. And I shorted it like, I don't know, right around here. I think when I woke up this morning, I did around 6 a.m. And it had a nice little, that was like great timing. But I also saw that the RSI was rejecting the 50. So I had a feeling that it would impulse down. So I already took some profit, but I have the rest of it open. Even though I'm pretty bullish on the market, I want to see if it's going to reject this level again or not. So I'm watching this line, but also mainly watching this whole zone. If it rejects that again, then I'll keep it open and I might even add to the position. But if it starts to come through it, I'll just close and after take profit, depending on when I close, it'll be like right around break even, possibly something like that. But Mina's playing out pretty good from what we decided last week. And this is a positive sign for the bulls that it decided to find support inside this candle. Like a lot of people would call this region an FVG. So it is holding support in that, which is pretty decent. One more coin, just because market's been moving hot. So I just want to look at it because I haven't looked at it. So last time we looked at this, I wanted to short it. I never ended up doing it because the market just got really bullish. So hopefully people weren't like leaving like blind bids there because it totally reversed. But Sol has been moving, or I'm sorry, not Sol. APT has been moving really nicely. The reason why I thought Sol is because a lot of times it moves after Sol too. So if you see Solana pumping, it's a good rotation after that. And it looks like it might cool off a little bit here, but I don't expect it to pull back that much. I want to see shallow retraces across the board. Look, somebody big was building a position here too. That's a very clear TWAP going on there. So I think any consolidations up here, you can rebuy again. And if it dips a little bit, you'd want to get in as well. So if it can come like this somewhere, I'll probably get in again. And then same idea, just look for the next level resistance, right? So we're already tagging this one. So buy the dip and then look for the next one. It'll probably be this one. So easy stuff, guys. Play easy mode. That's all for me, though.
Thanks, Eddie. And now I will bring up GForce for legacy markets.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to cover the legacy markets. We're going to cover the S&P 500. We usually cover that first, and we'll cover that first again today on it. So right now, the market's a little bit, I want to say shallow, or it's not trading significantly because on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, clock, Pacific Standard Time, the Fed's going to have their rate announcement. That's going to be expected to be up. And the reason why that's going to be a pause is the 10-year yield, and a lot of the yields are just climbing on their own. We'll cover the 10-year yield a little bit later. But right now, the S&P 500, you can see that last week it took a pretty big dive, okay? It started and it climbed down. You'll see here on Wednesday, it came right down to the 2x lower band, Bollinger Band right here. And then Thursday, it just tanked. And it also tanked on Friday. But what the difference is that here, it stops on Thursday at a low, which is the halfway point between the 2x line, the 2x Bollinger Band line, and the 3x. And it did it again on Friday. So those are stopping points where it didn't retrace back up real quickly, but that's a point of definitely oversold positions, oversold market conditions. And then you'll see yesterday it popped back up, and today it's popping back up too, above that 2x line. So the S&P really doesn't get overextended beyond the 2x line typically. And if it does, if it goes below the 2x line, it will go in between the halfway point between the 3x right here and the 2x. So both these points, the low points, the intraday lows on Thursday last week and Friday were all at that midpoint between those two lines. So Monday it popped back up, and then also today it's popping back up. Tomorrow it's going to be all over the place. Who knows? Everybody's expecting a pause. If there is a pause in the interest rates by the Federal Reserve Bank, then it's probably going to jump. I don't know how much it'll jump. Will it get all the way to the standard deviation line, which is the black line right here, 271? I don't know. It might just get to this high at this point. But tomorrow, that's the big news for tomorrow. Moving on to the Dow Jones 30. Yesterday, it had a great move, a 500-point move. You can see it right here. And then today, it's floating around 33,000 right now. So is 33,000 a technical level or a psychological level? Well, it's a slight technical level because right here, back here on the beginning of October, it just floated along that 30,000. Then obviously it jumped above the standard deviation line and then came back down. So the key was it going to close below that point, which it did back on October 23rd. It did a head fake. This is what I call a head fake right here, 2 days, and then it dropped Thursday and Friday of last week below that 30,000. And here we are back up at around that 30,000 again. So 33,000, excuse me. So that right now is a psychological line, a little bit of a technical line, not a major technical line. So we'll see if the Federal Reserve, again, if they do pause, then I could see the Dow Jones 30 popping all the way to the standard deviation line right here, which is at 33,340 or 341, right at that point right there. Okay, moving on to the dollar index, the DXY. It is trading really sideways. You can see the standard deviation line is moving sideways. The upper bands are moving sideways. Everything is moving sideways. And it should, because it's had such a run up. It's had a run up since the BRICS announcement back in August. It ran up, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 highs within a 2-month period, and now it's trading sideways. Going a little bit sideways. We expect that, at least I would expect that. I don't know if it's going to pop again or not. Again, this is somewhat interest rate related, and that is just sideways action at the moment. Speaking of interest rates, we're going to move on to the 10-year U.S. 10-year bond yield. Now, this has also popped up like the dollar index. We've had several new highs. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this was a double right here. I count that still as, because this one's slightly higher. That was still a new high. One of the articles that I posted is that basically, since it's such a rapid rise since August, that this has actually done the Fed banks work for them. The market's naturally going up that much is basically doing the work for the federal bank. So the federal banking, that's why they paused recently, last couple of months, and then probably pause again because the market's doing their work for them. So you'll see that we talked about it last week, how the U.S. bonds have been not selling as well. The global market hasn't had an appetite for the U.S. bonds recently, and that actually pushes the yield up even more. Market conditions pushed the yield back up where it got to the highs right here was at 5%, right here back in the middle of this month. It was at 5%. So to get somebody to buy a U.S. bond, they're going to have to sweeten the pot on the yield to get the buyer to buy. And that's why it hit that 5% mark. So basically, the federal bank doesn't necessarily have to raise rates again for the rest of the year. That's what the article is talking about and what the commentary is going on in most of the markets, because the market's doing the work for the federal bank. Next year could be a whole different story. We don't know about that. And the Federal Reserve wants that 2% target as their inflation rate. We're not going to get back down to 2%. It's just not going to happen. We're in a 30-year bond cycle, an up cycle, because we went to zero interest rates a few years ago, and we're just going to keep climbing just like this chart. It's just going to keep climbing up and up. Sorry to say that if you want to buy a house, but interest rates are just going to keep going up. My last chart is gold. Let's look at gold. Now, I've been posting in that gold was going to go to 2,000, which it did. I have this 80 price range because that was the peak way back here in July. So that's like the line. You can see that last week that it went below the line because it came to it on October 20th, which was a Friday, dropped below it. And now it's climbing back up. It hit that 2,000 target, which I thought it would. And I posted that it was going to keep climbing up to it. And now it's fallen back. Okay. So this 80 line, okay, is going to be turning into support. So it became resistance here, and then it dropped back down and it blew through that and no longer resistance. And now it popped up to 2,000. Now today it's coming right back down to it. You can see the price right here, 80. Will it drop below that? It could drop below that. It will keep climbing up. I believe it will keep climbing up. Again, this is all because of the war between Hamas and Israel, or Israel declaring war on Hamas, I should say, and trying to go through the Gaza. And gold is climbing down. They're thinking, okay, Israel's making good progress in Gaza and Israel's going to win this. But there could be all kinds of surprises when it comes to war. It could turn around in a flashpoint, just like the markets can turn around in a flashpoint. And that's why they call it a New York minute, quicker than the New York minute. So that is it for me. I've covered legacy markets, finishing up with gold, and I'll turn it over to you, Pepe.
I'm personally glad to see the markets turn around a little bit. We'll see if it lasts. And that is it for this week. Remember, as a member of DeFi-Logic, you can post requests in the Daily Dose forum. We will review the coins, assets, and tradable proxies in our next call. And if you're interested in alpha testing our ETH spot trading indicator, XRP strategy, or signing up for the new Bitcoin scalp strategy when it's released, the service is free until we launch. DeFi-Logic is a freemium service for members that join prior to public launch. And as an early member, you'll gain free lifetime access to the Discord server, along with steep discounts on other products and services we develop in the future. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. GN friends.
Join us next week in Discord for TA Tuesday at DeFiLogic.com.